Hey guys, 22 Plinkster here. In my hands I have some Cci Copper 22. This has kind of been a long anticipated review on this ammo, and at the time of making this video, Cci has now started to ship this ammo to some distributors and probably is in the hands of some of you guys. If you're unfamiliar with the Cci Copper 22, it is the only 22 long rifle ammunition that is on the market now that is lead-free. This is very important because here in a couple of years, one state and probably several other states will adopt lead-free ammo only, either for recreation shooting or for hunting. So Cci want to be proactive and invent and develop a copper-free 22 long rifle round. Now the Cci Copper has a 21 grain bullet. That's almost half the weight of a typical 22 long rifle, which is 40 grains. And it is going at a blazing 1,850 feet per second. And if you do your calculations correctly, guess what? That is the fastest 22 long rifle on the market. There are several benefits of having this ammo. One, of course, it's lead-free. Two, it's very, very fast. And three, when you're shooting still, you don't have to worry about any fragments coming back and hitting you. Now, with some positives, there always will be some negatives. Now, I have seen a lot of people say, and they have sent me messages saying that this ammo will not group very well at 100 yards and on. And guess what? You're exactly right. I know the engineers that developed this ammo, and I have spoken with them with very long conversations about long range shooting with this particular ammo. This ammo is developed to shoot between 25 and 75 yards for small game hunting. It's not and was not developed for longer ranges. After 75 yards, the ammo, which is out of the muzzle velocity, is 1,850 feet per second, starts going down to around 1,200 to around 1,200 feet per second. Once it hits that threshold, the bullet starts to becoming a little unstable. It's not uncommon for people to be getting 10, 11, and even 12-inch groups at 100 yards. But what I'll show you here in a minute in this video, at 25 and at 50 yards, it shoots very, very well. Now I'm going to show you a clip right about now of 3 different rounds. On the left is a Cci standard. In the middle is the Cci Copper 22, and on the right, of course, it's the Cci Stanger. And if you look closely, a big difference that you will see between the three is the case length. The one on the left, the Cci Standard, of course, has the shortest case length. The one in the middle, the Cci Copper, is just a little bit longer. And of course, the Stanger, it's the longest. Now this bullet does have a small hollow point, and it's not developed to do any kind of expansion when hitting an object. That is only there to help stabilize the bullet. Now, since this ammunition is not very good at 100 yards, it doesn't mean that you can't use it. Now, I am a small game hunter, and most of my shots on small game is between 10 and 50 yards. This ammo will do the job each and every time. Now, that's not to say later on down the road, a manufacturer of some sort will develop another round that will have better results at longer ranges, and that is also a lead-free bullet. Enough talking about it. Let's get to the range and do some shooting. It's my favorite part of the video now. It's where I quit talking about it and actually shoot it. I've got a target down here set up at 25 yards. Let's see what kind of 5-shot group we can get with this new Cci Copper 22. Pretty good indeed. That is, looks like it is about a 3/4 inch group at 25 yards. So let's back the target up at 50 yards and let's see how this ammo performs. You've seen what this ammo can do at 25 yards. It's definitely minute of squirrel at 25 yards. Let's see if it's minute of squirrel at 50 yards. I'm going to go for a 5-shot group here. It's looking like an inch group at 50 yards. That's pretty good. Definitely minute of squirrel at 50 yards. Okay, now I've pulled the targets at 25 and 50 yards. I get accused a lot in my videos saying that I always exaggerate on how small the groups are on some of these rifles. And I never want to be misleading, but I shoot these champion targets probably, oh man, I probably shoot 15 to 25 of them a week. So I kind of know what kind of group I have at what distances by looking at the separation of the rings. But I said this one on video is about 3/4 inches of a group. And if you can see here from center to center, it is actually just a tad under 3/4. It's very close. Right here is, let me see here, right here is 3/4, and it is just right under it. So it's just a little bit less than 3/4. And on the 50 yarder, I said it was about an inch group. These two are the farthest ones from center to center. And as you can see right here, it's right in the middle of 1 inch. So the lighting for this shot is not the best, but it's exactly 1 inch. So it will shoot 1 inch groups at 50 yards and 3/4 inch groups at 25. An interesting thing about the Cci Copper here, since it is a copper dust mixed with a polymer to form the bullet, and it's only a 21 grain bullet, the recoil out of a handgun is very little. However, the bullet gets there extremely fast, and when you're shooting hard objects such as steel, the bullet just disintegrates. That will keep you from getting any kind of shrapnel coming back. So if you've ever shot any kind of lead jacketed ammo, you know there's always a risk when shooting steel that fragments can come back. When you're shooting it with the copper, you know, you don't have to worry about that as much. So let me take a few shots. So it is cycled flawlessly out of my Ruger Mark II. I have put several hundred rounds through this handgun, and I have not had one single malfunction. I have a clear ballistic gel block donated by T & Outdoors 9 for me to do some testing with this Cci Copper 22. And I've got it set up down here at about 10 yards. Let me shoot it a few times and let's see what kind of performance it has in a clear ballistic gel. All right, let's go down there and take a look. After my 5 shots into this clear ballistic gel at 10 yards, these are the results. Now this block was at about 75 degrees before I shot it. Right now it is about 95 degrees with the humidity about 1,000,000% here in Tennessee right now. So this block is heating up, so I need to get this done and done quickly. But 5 shots, the penetration, the longest penetration that I had on any of them was at about right at 1 foot. So it did penetrate the block about 1 foot. Now every bullet did turn around backwards at some point. Usually it looks about like at the 10-inch mark or 9.5-inch mark, each round did turn around backwards. Now these bullets aren't made to expand when hitting soft tissue. So I've got one that is right here at the very bottom of the block. I don't know if I can dig that out or not. Yeah, so I did. There's no expansion whatsoever of that round, but it is a 21 grain copper polymer bullet stuck at the bottom. So it did penetrate about 1 foot into the ballistic gel, and they did turn around backwards at about 10 inches. Now that I've cooled off a little bit, let me give you my final thoughts on the Cci Copper 22. I've been fortunate enough to shoot this ammo now for several months, a long time before it actually hit the shelf, and you guys have seen it in action. And I can say, shooting it 1,000 rounds, that the ammo has performed quite well. When I do ammo reviews, I compare it to 3 different things. You know, 1, is it reliable? 2, is it accurate? And 3, is it affordable? 1, it is very reliable. Out of 1,000 rounds, I only had 2 problems. And those 2 problems were failure to feed, but I think a lot of it was because my rifle was extremely dirty. Out of a handgun, never a single problem. But out of 1,000 rounds shooting rimfire, only 2 problems, that's pretty good. Now, is it accurate? Yes, it is accurate at the distances that CCI claims it will be accurate at. That's 75 yards and in. Now, you know, consistent inch groups at 50 yards, that's definitely minute of squirrel. Is it affordable? Yes, it's a little bit more than a box of 50 rounds of 22 LR, just because there's a lot of engineering. There's, you know, we're not using lead. You know, they're using a different kind of bullet, bullet design and bullet technology. So the price will be up just a little bit more. I haven't seen it on the shelf, but a couple of you guys have bought it and sent me messages saying that they've spent anywhere from $7 to $10 for a box of 50. So yes, it is affordable. You're not going to be shooting any matches at 100 yards with this ammo, by no means. But again, let me emphasize, it was not created to do that. It was created for you guys that live in a state that is going to adopt a lead-free ammo policy here in a couple of years. It will give you the ability to keep plinking. Again, that's what it's all about. Guys, if you have any questions, you can ask them down here in the comments below. You can go over to my Facebook page, Instagram page, or Twitter and ask them there. Until next time, y'all be safe and keep plinking.